I've taken a look at your proposal. It's much better than the ones you showed me before, but I'd still like to make some changes.
Oh, come on, not again. Isn't this the 6th proposal I've shown you? What's your issue this time?
It's a bit hard to put into words, but the design still doesn't look quite right to me.
I have to say, that's a terribly vague and unconvincing explanation. Please enlighten me. What would feel more right to you?
For starters, don't you think this roof is jutting out a bit too far from the top? It looks almost like the head of a fungus. This door, too. I don't think it needs to be nearly this large. If you could reduce it to around my height, you could use the leftover materials to construct a few more rooms.
The roof and the door are the most fundamental parts of a building. If we were to change them, then what would be left of the design? Even if the soul of the building won't be lost, all traces of architectural style would be gone. Anyone with the slightest inkling of architectural knowledge would know to leave them alone.
Oh, I understand the principles of what you are saying, of course, but the truth remains that I'm still a bit unhappy with the design as is. Is there anything else that you can do? Oh, actually, I just got an idea. Can we get rid of all the extraneous sections on the roof so the whole design will just be one vertical structure, similar to that of a tree trunk?
What?
Don't architects often say that symmetry makes everything more balanced and pleasing to the eye? This way, the proportions will be completely balanced.
I really don't know how you managed to come up with such a ridiculous idea. Wait, don't tell me. Someone hired you specifically to commission me and put me through the ringer? Come to think of it, though, I really don't think I've gotten on anyone's bad side recently. Anyway, that's it. I will not be working on this commission anymore. Goodbye. Maybe you can find yourself some other genius who'll be able to satisfy your demands.
Hey, young man, please wait! Oh.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an... So you saw all that, did you? Ugh, I thought I was in the clear. Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine, same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine and a glass of juice coming right up.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well, I'd really appreciate it. Arguing with a client is not a good look for me. If word gets out, other potential clients might be afraid to work with me. That guy, though, what was he even going on about? All those ridiculous demands of his? He's just a blabbering fool trying to act like a know-it-all. Another glass, please, boss. I'm not leaving today till someone has to carry me out.
You've got it, sir. I gotta say, though, it almost feels like you're saying that every other day now.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. If this was in the past, I'd never have gone through 6 whole drafts trying to accommodate the client's preferences. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since graduation, and none of them have been approved at the first pass. I would spend a lot of time altering my designs, and by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. It feels like I'm straying further and further from my artistic vision with every change I have to make. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox, one that particularly crops up in my work, too. In the end, what is the true meaning of art? Should I see it as a divine gift of inspiration from the gods? Or an expression of the light of my own wisdom?
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass? Your tolerance is usually much better than that.
Boss, what do you think is the meaning of art?
The meaning of art? Really, my friend, who in Sumeru understands art better than you? Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know that I'm interested in business, and some patrons are waiting to be served. So, you'll have to excuse me for now. Just holler if you need anything.
What do you think, traveler? Exactly. So our thoughts on the meaning of art are rather similar. In Sumeru, and especially Sumeru of the past, the arts are not a popular discussion topic. Trying to talk about the arts is basically the key to killing any conversation. It's too bad that I'm not in my best form today. Otherwise, we could have talked about this for a little longer. Thanks for offering, but you've seen how he is. He's not going to listen to anything I say. He understands nothing about my design, and all the suggestions he made were as if he just wanted to mock me. Okay, it is possible that I was just jaded by my frustration. Well, given I'm already on my 6th draft, I can probably push myself to make a 7th. Let's go have another talk with him. I know where we'd be able to find the guy. There's no time to waste. The wine can wait until another time. I'll go take care of the bill.
Kaveh, what are you doing here?
I've changed my mind. I was overreacting earlier. Can we try discussing the project some more?
My apologies as well. Now that I think about it, some of my requests were indeed a bit unreasonable. If I choose you to create the design for my project, I should have a bit more faith in your vision.
Thank you for understanding. Mutual trust is the basis for good communication. Now that we've got that out of the way, I think we can have a more productive conversation. To be perfectly honest, your commission request has been the most peculiar one I've ever received. Even now, I still know nothing about the building's intended purpose. All I know is that you want to build something in the desert for public use. I am aware that overly specific requests will restrain the architect's artistic freedom, However, knowing nothing about the intended purpose of the building also means I have no idea if I'm on the right track. I've produced several draft proposals for you to choose from, and you've rejected every single one. If we don't get on the same page, it could be a decade before we can finally break ground on this project.
Yes, I've given this some thought already. I think we can go with the general direction of the latest proposal that you just showed me. It's just...
Just what?
Putting the building design aside, can we get some less expensive materials for the floor tiles? Yeah, I know someone in the business, and the red bricks he sells can go for pretty cheap. The timber here as well. We should be able to find some substitutes.
Please give me a moment. My head's starting to hurt again. Just please hold on for a second. So, let me get this straight. You want to reduce the cost of the project, right? But if we implement your suggestions, then I'm afraid we have to scrap the entire design. Architectural design cannot be neatly split into discrete parts. Any change to one part of the design will affect the quality of the whole thing. I decided to utilize high-end timber for this section because the weight-bearing structure requires the supporting materials to be durable and strong. Same with the tiles. Switch them out and the entire mural will have to be redesigned. More importantly, if we make such a change, both its practical functionality and aesthetic value will take a great hit. If all you need is a building with a roof that can keep people dry in the rain, you shouldn't have commissioned me. Many architects would be able to build you one of those while charging far less in commission fees.
Actually, Please tell me, are you absolutely sure that there's no room for any changes in this draft of the design?
I think the most important thing for me is to understand what you would actually like to get. If you could tell me more about your vision, I might be able to work with the design some more. You are the client, after all. You should have the final say on how the project turns out.
I want to build something unique. Something quiet and warm inside. A refuge that can block out the world outside. I want all who enter this building to be able to temporarily forget everything that's going on outside of the building and just focus on their task at hand.
That's a bit more information than last time, but it's still extremely vague. To put it another way, every rich person who wants to build a mansion for themselves would request something like this. We've gone through many proposals, and this draft is already the cheapest one. Cutting costs by substituting building materials will not only detract from the overall effect of the building, it also won't save you much more in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you for giving it so much thought. I still have a few business meetings that I must attend.
I also have a similar feeling. Is that really okay? He does seem really suspicious, though. He dresses like a rich person, but that's actually pretty common. Not all rich people are spendthrifts. Many are just. The more mora some people have, the more they love interfering with people's lives. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure this person really wants to work on this project with me. Putting his vague requests aside, he's still finding excuses to... Who knows how long construction will take if he keeps delaying things? Huh? Where did he go? I could have sworn he went this way. Let's keep looking. Oh, hey, look! Isn't that Badawi? It sure looks like him, but he's...
Didn't I tell you before? I'm not looking for more workers. Plus, aren't you a bit old for physical labor? If something happens to you, I won't be able to pay for it.
Oh, you won't have to worry about that. I grew up as an Eremite mercenary and worked in the desert. I don't have many talents, but I still have my muscle. If you need...
You used to be an Aramite mercenary?
I know there are a lot of bad apples in our ranks, but most are just trying to make a living. We're not that greedy by nature, and we'll do our best when given a job.
Let me think. I'm sorry, but I still can't take you in. I don't have any open positions right now, and don't have the Mora for anything more. How about this? Why don't you try your luck somewhere else?
Okay.
He used to be a member of the Aramites? Huh. From the way he was dressed, I would have thought he was a merchant from the rainforest. Let's ask him about it. We meet again.
Huh? Why are you guys here?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are you? Why did you dress up like a merchant to talk to me about our project? There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me, but rather a library for children living in the desert.
A library? Funded entirely by yourself? Shouldn't this be the responsibility of the academia? I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials. It sent over a large shipment of regular goods just last month.
You're right, and I was aware of these happenings as well. I just figured what I want to do is a separate effort from what's already being done by the academia. The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades, if not centuries, to reduce the educational gap that already exists between the two regions. And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future. All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. If we only did that, we'd never be able to stand up and hold our heads high. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much safety as I could get.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on. Don't tell me you've also been scammed before.
When I first came to Sumeru City, I brought a lot of Mora, hoping to find an architect that I could work with. Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took a sum of Mora from me, but then disappeared without a trace. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. Some would run as soon as they've been paid, while others would deliberately use expensive materials and take a cut of the construction funding. I spent a while collecting information in the city, and eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru. I figured that you wouldn't need to make Mora by scamming people, so I decided to reach out to you. By the way, how did you know I was scammed? I don't think I've ever mentioned that to anybody.
Just a hunch. A while ago, I accepted an offer to work on a project in the desert, and was also scammed out of a large sum of Mora. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse, and suggested that I build a new house for him. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora, and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendors. Soon after that, I found out that he had gone gambling with all the money, and lost everything, down to the last coin. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time. I didn't even suspect him of any wrongdoing until he hired a group of mercenaries and tried to ambush me in his own house. According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was an academia scholar who didn't have any family or friends in the desert. What kind of person would just look at someone else and think, this guy looks like an easy target?
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes. Folks like him are the exact reason why us desert dwellers' reputation have gone down the drain. I must apologize to you on their behalf.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar after all. I should apologize to you on their behalf. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals. Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't understand the logic of those who like to take advantage of others, but I have to accept their existence as a fact of life. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was deliberately using expensive materials to take a cut as a middleman?
That's what I was afraid of initially, yes. I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. But unfortunately, I still don't have nearly enough mora to pay for the design you proposed. I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I can see that you're passionate about your design, and I'm quite fond of the proposal as well. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is. I've been looking for work.
By cobbled together, you mean you're going to spend your entire...
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when all I want is to build this library before I leave this world. A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children. I know the desert life and can predict what the problems will be. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls...
Yes, my father passed away at an early age. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think building it according to the current plan will be quite Any idea? A slightly different style. Most architects would probably prioritize, while it's true that the aesthetic value of a building is often viewed as to completely give up on the more aesthetic design would mean However, if we can reduce the ornate aspects of to make up for the loss of regular details, we would need to put a...
I see. Would that really be okay?
It just increases the difficulty of the design. As for inspiration, I think I might...
Aru Village. Although it wasn't my child...
Okay, then we can pay a...
Is there something I can do for you?
Let me think. We want to keep the roads clear, and
All right, just leave it to me. If there's anything I'm...
What are you waiting for, then? Let's pack up and... Most materials going from Caravan Ribat to Aru Village would pass through here. There are a lot of monsters out here today. If you find it hard to keep up, just...
Oh, don't worry about me.
Stabilize!
Right now, right here.
Come at me!
The doctor was seeing.
Remember, health comes first.
Emerge. Right now.
I'm fine. But it's one thing to fight against monsters. I don't think much of it back then, but few mercenaries get to enjoy their later years.
Is there someone you know who can help to look after...
Unfortunately, no. My wife passed away at an early age. Sometimes I joined the Eremites when if at all possible. I want future children. My apologies.
I think it's really admirable of him to spend his whole life savings on people he's never met. Maybe he's doing this out of natural kindness. Perhaps. To clarify, though, some people call me an idealist, but my situation is more complex than that. In the beginning, what drove me to harbor those when I was young, I impulsively encouraged my father to take part in the first Inter-Darshan chat. He set off confidently hoping to win something for me, but I never saw him again. Word has it that he got... I started doing many things in life. At this point, even I've tried self-reflection, but it didn't help. I can't seem to walk away from... Maybe it's just like what those Vahumana scholars are. I could be doing things out of endless guilt. Anyway, I've known Al-Haytham for many... He told me a long time ago that I still believe I should live by my ideals. And unfortunately, he remains unconvinced. His personality... As you can see, I'm not the only idealist, and when I finally run out of stamina, someone will help me. But you've helped me plenty already. If you didn't reach out to me, I would probably be passed out on the tavern table right now instead of talking with Badawi. Either way, I'm feeling much better than when you first found me at the tavern. I can feel inspiration already. Well, all right, let's head to Aru Village. Now that we're here, it's my partner's time to shine. Marak!
Oh, what's this?
My toolbox. I built it using an ancient mechanical core. It's not too... I'll take Marak and find a suitable location.
Traveler?
Ah, you know each other?
Hello. I suppose you must be Kaveh from Kasharawar. I've heard of you before.
Educational assistance programs. Then...
I can't say I'm too familiar just yet, but if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
I've been commissioned by Mr. Badawi to...
A library?
That's right. I want to make sure the children will...
That's fantastic! I'm sure the children will be thrilled. Right now, we don't...
Let me get straight to my questions, then. Can you estimate the number... Oh, and have any... All right, that should be everything. Badawi, let's go over the budget again. We'll keep the building structure the same, but make the place a little bigger, so it'll be able to hold more people and get better natural light. The parts of the project that cost the most will be the insulation and ventilation materials. I'm sure you understand, no one likes to read in a place that's hot and stuffy. I want to make significant changes to the arrangement of the bookshelves, tables, and chairs. I'll go over the specifics of that shortly. Our final Marak has produced a sketch for all of you. The inspiration just came to me naturally. Well, I must give you credit, though. According to the traditions of my profession. In the meantime, let's look forward... We meet again.
Huh? What?
That's what we wanted to ask you. There's no need for us to get
Believe me, I did. All right.
a library? I've heard that the academia will be.
You're right. And the desert is too vast. And what's more, all I know is that I don't have much longer left. I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert.
To the point that you even discussed.
When I first came to, someone agreed to take on. After that, I spent a while collecting information. By the way,
Just a hunch. I ran into someone who was. He said that he had no way to pay. And after that, he even borrowed more. According to him.
those kinds of things do.
It's all right. You were also scammed by. Ultimately, neither of our experience. Yeah, you'll find. But anyway, I digress.
That's what I was afraid of initially. Yes. I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. But unfortunately, I still don't have nearly enough mora to pay for the design you proposed. I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I can see that you're passionate about your design, and I'm quite fond of the proposal as well. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is. I've been looking for work every day, and in another month, I should be able to cobble together enough mora to meet the...
By cobble together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project? But then, what will you do if something unexpected comes up, and you find yourself stuck with no emergency fund?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when you've lived to be my age and something happens, you can't really call it unexpected anymore. All I want is to build this library before I leave. A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptions. I know the desert life, so even if the academia...
Yes, my father passed away at I'm sure a child coming on. But let's bring this back to the building it according to the current Sponsor the project? That does make sense. What do you think? If we could...
It's all fine with me, but...
Well, you're right. Her? Hard pass. With her shrewd and greedy... now there's an idea. Let's go and pay her a visit.
Now here are some unexpected guests. What brings you to the Palace of Alcazar's Ray? When I saw Kaveh, I almost thought it must be that time of month again. Sadly for me, I must wait a few more days before I can collect my shiny mora.
Hey, can't you think of something else for a change? You are literally living in an objet d'art, and yet your mind is still fixated on nothing but mora? What is the point of wealth, anyway? Is your happiness entirely dependent on your hoard of cold, emotionless mora?
That's exactly right. Mora is extremely valuable, you see. If you don't keep your mind on it, your mora may just find its way to somebody else's. If you ask me, this place is still way too empty. Just give me some time and I'll fill it to the brim with lots and lots of mora.
You're hopeless.
Oh, so you have an actual reason to visit me? Alright, merchants. Why? Is there some kind of business opportunity? Oh, I see. So you're just looking for someone to help you fit the bill.
I knew you wouldn't be interested in something like this. Still, you wouldn't refuse just making some introductions for us, would you?
Sure, I can connect you with some folks, but with every service comes a fee, you know.
A fee? You mean just for introductions?
Of course! Making introductions means since we've known each other for so long...
500,000? Besides, by helping us out, you'd be doing a great...
passionate about this. 3 of my business partners came back. You can wait here. I'll bring them up.
Dory gave us a brief introduction. To be frank, I don't feel like there's an...
All right, here's the situation.
So it's...
Correct.
Then the commission...
I'm not too concerned about how much...
So what? Besides, what does a...
Hey, there's no need to be... So...
Well, just speaking for myself, I've got...
I also have a concern. It feels like there's not much to profit from in the short...
Then how about this? What if, instead...
Wouldn't that just cost more?
Yes. But in that case...
I'll just give an example. If we were to build a library and a school near Aru Village, then a whole suite of buildings will be able to host more traffic, and thus drive... I've been to the desert several times. Although there are still many lingering tensions between the 2 regions, the amount of interaction has been steadily increasing, and in the long term, the desert will only become more and more important to Sumeru.
You do have a point.
Education in the desert is indeed an industry that has not been tapped into. If we can be the first to place stakes in the area...
And you just believe anything he tells you?
Even the greenest amateurs know that urban planning will affect population flow. If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone on the street to confirm it to you.
You...
Hey, why are you starting to sound like I'll hate them?
Wait, something just occurred to me. If we're going to build a library in the desert, Aru Village would obviously be the best place for it. But it seems we're not the only ones with our eyes on the village. I heard a rumor a while back saying a lot of land...
What?
What?
In other words, if we want to build a suite of...
Then there's no hurry.
But...
Is there nothing else to discuss? Great.
I'll be off as well.
It seems like the others are not...
Hey, God! Well, what can I say? Yeah, it's just another day doing business. Looks like we'll have to figure out...
How did the meeting go? Want to talk about it? I've been waiting for... I see everything! The most benevolent Lord Sangmabe makes your dreams come true. Everyone will... The most benevolent Lord Sangmabe makes your dreams come true. Oh? Where did all that passion go from earlier, I take it you weren't able to find a...
Please don't tell me that you're here to mock us.
What kind of person do you take me for? What the kind? You can try to talk up the project all you want, but
But this isn't just a business project, right? Also, if you already knew no one would want to partner with us, why did you still try to charge me 500,000 mora? You
might want to remember...
I'll pay back every last coin that I still owe you, but that...
Alright, since you're so devastated about this, I'll set you up for... In fact, I'll be inviting them...
What? So...
Follow me. Oh... This is the place.
You said you're going to introduce us to the most famous
You still don't get it, huh? The most famous merchant in Sum...
Huh? So you meant yourself all along? Then why did you
Well, I've given it some thought, and that complex of education and... It'll be a pretty big Mora sink, and I'll have to fund it all on my own. But that's not really a problem for me.
Seriously? Where's this generosity?
The reasons are not important. However, you know just
I get it, I get it.
splendid. Then
This way, the children of... Of course, there are a few things better than using... I must thank you as well, Dory. Now, let's have a quick discussion.
there's no rush.
Huh? The deed? So hold on a sec. The person who has been buying up everything around...
Oh my, did I not tell you about that? Yep, yours truly has been... So, from my perspective...
But what about my commission fees?
Huh? Didn't you waive those yourself? I was just gonna say that to Kakas, but before I could finish my...
It's obvious that you used every trick in the book to deceive me. You deliberately paused for...
Huh? You really think so? Well, the contracts are...
Fine, I'll drop the argument. I'm going to order the best dishes... Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? So you saw all that, did you? I thought I was in the clear. I made sure to double-check that nobody I knew was around. Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine, same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice, coming right.
I know you're already keeping a secret from that guy, though. Another glass, please, boss.
You've got it, sir.
It really is every other day that you'd run, but perhaps getting used to this, I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and all of this makes for a real paradox.
Here's your drink.
Boss?
The meaning of art. Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know...
What do you think? No worries. It's been bothering me for a while. Sounds great to me. I don't even want to think about... Huh? I mean, it's not like it's... My mother is also an architect. Perhaps. In fact, I have also seen my mother. Unfortunately, I've barely had any contact. I did remember something else. At the time, she even told me that it would be... I hadn't quite come to grips with my... It's been a really long time. Now that's... Huh? Speaking... Either way, thanks for reminding me that I can invite you to come along. Thinking too hard about the word. If you want to stick around and see how this will turn out, you'll be sure to encounter some bits and pieces of my past. All right, then let's head back. Let me see. Anyway, there's no more time for drinks. Alhaitham isn't in, so feel free. Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. The box is pretty dusty, which means it's already been a while. I'm happy for her. I hope she'll be able to find happiness there. She raised me all by herself after my father passed away. It definitely wasn't easy for her. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things? Oh, I remember now. Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special. Now that criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of the artistic process. Without criticism, I admit that I may have spent a little too long questioning. Anyway, never mind. My building blocks! Oh, and this blue... I was super proud of myself when I finished it. Unfortunately, my mother didn't realize that I had put it. It was only a few days later that he finally got... My mother took me with her to personally apologize to the clients several times. She didn't scold me about it in private, though. Let's see. Is there anything else left in this box? This is my mother's notebook. When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated by this notebook. Wonder why... If only I could. I never managed to get... Hey, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of inspiration. Who knows? Maybe this time something will... I could tell what you were thinking. I've tried my name, my father's name. I've even tried stuff like love. I wouldn't try that route again. So we could find someone who was close to my mother and see if my mother was never really the one to be social. Let me think. Is there still... You've never really heard of her? She's a famous Gashar. Professor Zaha Hadid published many works. She's older now and is no longer... Let's go take a look.
What am I supposed to do now?
Tainari? What?
Oh, it's you. Good to finally see. I came into the city to buy some experiment, but as soon as I got here, I noticed someone banging on Cyrus's door. You've all heard of Cyrus. I was thinking about going over to ask what's happening. That granny over there may appear old and frail, but her vocal cords certainly sound loud and healthy as ever.
Granny?
Yeah, she's just over there. You can go check out the
I had a quick...
Drinking in broad daylight. Really? You want to pass out by the road and you, traveler? You didn't try to stop him? You look like a wreck, Kaveh. What happened? Are you feeling down again? You know what? I'm hosting a meal at Pardistii tomorrow evening.
Huh? Oh, I had no idea. Let me think for a moment. I'll come if I can find some time.
All right. Then I'll plan on reserving 2 seats for you. I'll be heading back to Gandharvaville for now. I have a feeling that argument over there is going to continue for quite some time. It might be best if we don't get involved.
A granny who lives nearby. Let's go take a look.
So, plan on keeping yourself locked in there, huh? Fine by me. If you're not going to come out, then I'm not going to leave. My tomato was growing so well, it had all the potential to become the best tomato this year, and you cut it straight from the vine!
I already told you I had nothing to do with it. You'd have to be awfully... You see, the word green here could
Enough nonsense! Just...
You're out of your mind.
Oh, why you...
Professor Zaha...
And who are you? How long has it been? Come on, get over here.
Professor...
It's no big deal, really. A few of us old scholars got bored in our retirement and decided to put together, which brings us to our current predicament.
Hey, don't try to defame me in front of the kids. If we're airing out each other's dirty laundry now...
Lucky for you, seeing the... Come on, let's go. We'll take our...
yes.
Is Faranak still doing well?
Yes, as far as I know. She left for Fontaine some...
Ah, yes. I did hear about that.
No, not at all. She's...
That's good to hear. Your mother did... Sometimes I wonder if things were harder for her because she was so beautiful. She was still quite young when she had to make a lot of even during her time in the act. She had many but every time I saw...
I'm sure she had many difficult moments in her life. How did she cope with the stress?
I'm not too sure. She never talked about such things with me. She rarely opened up to other people, you know. I do remember one time, though, when she got into a heated argument with a friend. She said... If you ask me, that...
So that's how it is. I wonder if the password could be...
What are you trying to do?
My mother left her notebook to me.
It's the... Your personalities are quite... I've taught a lot of students. They would know exactly what they... Some clients would choose to respect the architect's vision, or just let the argument go because of the architect's reputation. But... Those are the rare ones. When Faranak first graduated, she was...
I see, but...
No, I think they were probably... Faranak had many admirers.
So instead of understanding, perhaps all we need... Huh, it worked!
Oh!
Yes!
Then you should be on your way, being the awkward person that if you're ever in a mood to chat again, just...
Thank you so much.
There's no need to...
I wonder what my mother could have written.
They all say Zaha Hadid's class is the toughest, but I think it's actually not too bad. I met someone special. At first, I didn't think much of him. We decided to name our son Kaveh. I don't think a younger me would have... The bad news came. And even though it's been several days now... But I have to face reality.
Huh? Is this a drawing? Seems like it was done by my mother. This blonde man was probably my father. But who are the other people in the picture? From the dates in the notebook, she probably drew this. Maybe we were thinking too much. Oh!
The one who invited us to the gathering is a talkative woman. The talkative woman introduced everyone to it. My husband seems to be friends with the man with long ears. I couldn't really join their I don't think I'd be able to become friends with any of these people. Especially that. That man is certainly very handsome. But he would constantly alternate between disjointed. We were not acquainted with each other to begin with. And I doubt we'll see. Maybe my son will also partake in these gatherings in the future.
Who would have thought my mother used to attend that kind of thing? It seems she was only good at talking about her own. There's more written on the back.
Kaveh. I was both overjoyed and You are very talented, and I am confident that you will be... No one will be able to help you during your journey as an... Whenever you feel down, seek out a friend...
So that's the answer she prepared for me. Well, now that I've read her words... Although it'd be nice to get together with friends and chat tonight... Besides, don't most people hate the feeling? And don't forget, I'm also older... Huh, you're right. Well then, I guess... It's best that we go... You know what? I'm not...
Al-Haytham also got my invite, right?
That guy? He's never been a fan of so...
Are you sure?
Yeah, let's go. I'm...
Oh, sure.
You still haven't told me... What's the...
We're celebrating the end of the first phase of Kale's studies.
Then where's Kale?
She said she wanted to show everyone a bit of what she's learned, so she's... Anyway, let's get started. The curriculum will become a lot more involved.
I knew this wouldn't be just a simple free dinner.
Yes, I thought it would be good if we could all put our... Anyway, let's take a quick trip down...
Never happened to me.
I'd just pull another...
You two are hopeless. Does anyone have a more useful...
Ooh, that's a good point. Confidence is...
This could be a potential...
It's very simple. Instead of focusing on the amount of material you would like to teach, focus on the amount the student would be able to remember.
Wow, you actually showed up. I could probably count the number of...
It's still more than the number of times you...
As long as you're still aware. So, what made the difference this time? Are you looking to drink your sorrows away with some friends?
That's your purpose for being here, not mine. Don't project your ways of thinking onto me.
So you're saying the only reason you came is to help Tainari with his brainstorming?
Precisely. Kale will have a long road in front of her.
Hey, just to get one thing clear. Even if Kale manages to make her way to the academia, we cannot let her enroll in her avatat. Kasharawar is obviously the best choice for her. She's been a trainee forest ranger for so long, she'll definitely be good with her hands.
What are you saying? Spontamad is the better choice. It's where I graduated from, after all.
Then what about Amorta? That's the darshan her master actually graduated from.
There are only 2 other darshans left. We might as well select all of them on her enrollment application.
I'm trying to have a... Traveler, you aren't associated with any of the 6 darshans.
Well said.
Agreed. And my goal...
Phase 2 far exceeds Phase 1 in both curriculum...
Hey, what are you thinking now? Please don't tell me you're planning on lending her those...
Actually, I was thinking...
I'll make sure to write, don't pick... You're right, I can't...
Is there another phase after Phase 2? What's the ultimate goal?
We don't need to think that far ahead.
I'm telling you, that client had no idea what he was talking about. No matter...
Have you considered finding another client?
They're all the same.
It's too late now to change careers. Besides, you'll be getting...
No!
Cheer up, Kaveh.
We'll save that for the end, Sino. You can...
Al-Haytham isn't in, so feel free... Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. I'm happy for her. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things? Oh, obviously I would... Now that criticism and self-doubt have... I admit that I may have spent a little... Anyway, never mind. My building blocks! It's been years... Oh... I was super proud of my... Unfortunately, It was only a few days later that My mother took me with her to... She didn't scold me about... Let's see, is there anything else left in this box? This is my mother's... When I was a child, Wonder what... If only I... Hey, it's not a matter of time. Who knows? Maybe this time. I could tell what you were thinking. I've tried my name, my father. I've even tried stuff... I wouldn't try that route. Yeah, you're right. Although I was hoping everyone's life journey is... I just got an idea, though. What do you think? I'm glad you agree. The... Of all the places in the who doesn't miss their time? I created many designs that if I had to give a reason, it'd probably be because I like the ambiance here. The academia also had a rule that allowed scholars to annotate any physical... Oh, here, this is a great example. This book, History of Ancient Sumeru Architecture, contains some analysis that I did many years ago. Huh? Why is Alhatham's handwriting also in here? When did he ever read this book? I guess it's probably from when we worked on that research project together. Anyway, he probably never cared to tell you this, but the House of Dana is where Alhatham and I first met. I came here to do my homework, and saw him sitting by himself next to that row of bookshelves. A group of Haravatat scholars were chatting near him, but he looked as if he was too lazy to join them. There was a pretty stark difference between him and all the rest of them. It was my fault for feeling bad for him. I thought he must have gotten into some kind of trouble and went over to ask if he needed anything, not realizing that...
Not realizing that you were in fact the one in a whole heap of trouble?
Alhatham? Why are you here?
The House of Dana is a public space. Anyone...
But shouldn't you be at the records room at this hour?
You think I would derive amusement from watching you fall into depression over your... I came here to pick up a few files. If your voice hadn't managed to get through my soundproof earpieces,
All right, I admit I was probably overreacting. Probably not when he's right here with us. As his
There was nothing embarrassing or shameful about it. When I was still a student at the academia, I once collaborated with Kaveh on a research project. We had a number of differences, and they remain unresolved even. The more important question is...
As a senior scholar, isn't it...
I see. Then let me guess. Oh, and Kaveh.
Huh? But why would you know that?
Sure. If that... Leave any words of thanks you may have to the ex-Grand Conserv... As a result, the books you annotated have been moved to...
What? But all of my annotations were extremely... Okay, just you wait. I'm going to fix this right now. I'll dig all the books out and return them to the proper shelves.
Oh, anyway, you were about to say he's feeling a bit down? Put through the ringer. What an interesting friend. He probably did suffer quite a bit, that's true. He always spends a lot, but the satisfaction of one client will not translate to general. There are plenty of architects in Sumeru who are inferior to him in skill. Clearly, his predicament is inevitable, since he holds other people's feelings as more important than his own. Of course, each person is different, and we should respect the paths that they have chosen for themselves. Admonitions will serve no purpose. People tend to succumb to familiar pitfalls, and this...
Looks like you were having an enjoyable chat while I was gone.
What do you think?
What else is there to talk about? Sure, anyway, you should take a look at this. Look at this comment on page 82. Dear Kaveh, see that? Now that's how a student should treat their seniors.
And it looks like you're already in a much better mood now.
Me? Happy? I'm mocking that retired blockhead for being so full of himself.
Why don't you just move all the books yourself? It's not like he hasn't cursed you out before. Kaveh had a habit of scribbling and writing in all kinds of...
Hey! You didn't need to bring that up. Oh, actually, I also found a really old sketch in one of the books over there. Huh? Don't tell me.
Don't ask me. This...
You... In that case...
We can also plainly see that the design...
If I don't keep bringing up the neat projects that I've done, how would anyone know that I was the one who did them in the first... There shouldn't be any complaints about Port Ormos.
There are indeed no records of any complaints about this project. A most impressive achievement.
See? What did I tell you? Come on, let's take a stroll through Port Ormos next. I'll tell you all about the designs I made for the place.
No need. It's almost time to clock out for the day, and I don't intend on bringing...
Suit yourself. It's not like... Port Ormos. No, I didn't design any one specific building. Most of my work here concerned structural renovation. Port Ormos had already existed since I was still a young child. It wasn't as large as it is now, though. It only came to its current size after a sizable expansion. The arch bridge over there, for example. When I was first tasked, we ran into a lot of issues during construction, but thankfully, we were still able to achieve the original vision. Residents can now behold all the ships entering and leaving the harbor from the vantage point of the bridge, while visitors can recognize the site of Port Ormos from a long ways away. I was still young and new to the trade back then. I could hardly believe the true cornerstone of the once built, a building will You think so? My budget was tight, and I was unable. Us creative types know better than... Yeah, you're right. We've spent long enough here. Great. This is a rare opportunity. If you ever feel down, maybe... Who would have thought that so many primal constructs... We won't be able to sit and talk peacefully with these guys.
Emerge. Right now. Right here.
Gather! Sight clear!
Yeah. Right now. Right here.
Breaking new ground! Scanning! Isn't this place great? I often come here to clear... You know what I mean. Just take me as an example. Although I'll hate... You could probably say... Life is too boring when you live with no enthusiasm and passion. Only those... Of course, I will concede that loving something also means... But still, isn't this place beautiful? With different landforms come different architectural... The site here has moved me ever since the first time I... My pain will one day... They are far more valuable than most materialistic things. If you were to ask me what art is, you think so? Remember that question I brought up before? I still haven't found an answer. Those who pursue art will... I'll try gathering my thoughts. In any case... Taking this commission was truly the worst decision. Oh, actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the so you saw... Anyway, stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss? Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice?
I know you're already keeping that guy, though. Another glass, please.
You've got it, sir.
It really is but perhaps getting used. I would spend a lot of time altering my... I suppose, though, that just all of this makes for a real...
Here's your drink.
Boss?
The meaning of art? Anyway, I don't know about art.
What do you think? Yes, art should... Let's say that I built a house. The problem is that it can be very... Sounds great to me. A different career? I think I've heard a saying somewhere before. It's just a saying, of course, but... And if I want to make more, hold on. I just remember, maybe I'll be able to get some advice.
Ah, Kaveh, it's you! It's been a while. What have you been up to recently?
Yeah, it's been a long time, Alkami. Things haven't changed.
I heard that you were the genius behind the palace.
Well, it's hard to make a profit from...
Hard to make a profit? Unless the client...
Well,
I understand. Either way, doing one project after another sure gets exhausting over the years, huh? I obviously never had your reputation to live up to. That must have been stressful. But I'm sure we faced all the... well, not exactly. Judging from the look on your face, you're still... With that said, us Kasharawar grads should still look out for each other.
Are you serious? But something like that has got to be... Besides, I don't want to just take something like...
Oh, you're too kind. This is just a simple tip. Compared to the classes taught by those old fossils at the Academia, my class, unlike the Academia, I won't turn down any... It just so happens that I'm still looking for a few more, regardless of the pay. I can already guarantee that it'll be fun.
Ah, so you want me to join you as an instructor? That does sound like something I'd be able to do. It sounds like a pretty stable job, too. What do you think, Traveler?
Then it's a deal?
Yes, it's a deal. Thank you, Alkami.
Like I said, there's no need to thank me for this. The lecture room is not far from here, so you can just come straight here tomorrow morning. As for the pay, how about we start at 300,000 mora per lecture?
300,000? Are you...
It would seem that 300,000 is also just the base rate. Just trust me on this. The longer you... I have to go make some preparations now. See you tomorrow.
I was never particularly close with Alkami when we were in school. Who would have thought that he'd be so nice and friendly? I've hosted free lectures before, but this would be my first time being hired to lecture for a formal business. 300,000 mora per lecture. Whew. I'm so excited that I'm... Thanks so much. I think I will be able to relax a bit more with a friend in the audience. Now, what should I talk about tomorrow? Some lessons I've learned over the past few years? I should probably save those for later. For my first lecture, I should start by getting them more interested in the field. All right, let's meet here again tomorrow morning. I should hurry home and create some kind of lesson plan. If I'm going to become an instructor, I should make sure I show up prepared.
Oh.
I was up last night preparing for the lecture, but I ended up getting so excited that I couldn't fall asleep. Here, I've prepared a lesson plan. Do you want to take a look?
Lesson plan? I must commend you for your dedication. But the training center has already developed its own set of teaching materials. Instead of using your own plan, you can just... Sure, be my guest. It's almost time for the lecture to start.
Huh. So you've already developed... There's something else I want to ask, though.
No need to stress. There are 14 classes at my training center. Out of all of them, the first class has the best grades, so I've directed them to you. We'll see how well they take to your lectures.
20 people, huh? All right. I think I can handle that.
Oh, and one last thing. I'm sorry to say this, but...
Sorry about that.
Hey there. Can I help you? Oh, Alkami? You mean that... I heard he earned a fortune working as a renowned architect. If the tuition wasn't sky high...
Did you hear? Alkami recruited
I bet that'll boost his enrollment numbers.
Really makes you jealous, eh? If you think about it, Alkami was never that talented himself as an architect. If we're just talking about professional skill, no one would pay for a class with him.
That's true, but you've got to admit, his advertisements are really effective. After all, the academia only admits those that can pass its entrance exam. So only a few people could hope to study architecture in the halls of the Kasharwa. For those who can't pass the exam, or who just want to jump straight into the industry, the training center is...
Man, to have that...
All right, everyone. Class is over, so we can just chat for a bit.
No, you weren't scary at all, Mr. Kaveh. We were just...
Oh, don't get me started. I was trying to use Alkami may fool an amateur, but he can't fool anyone who's active in our profession. The materials he made are completely useless. In my opinion, the most important skill of an architect is there are tens of thousands of buildings in the world, as well as a countless number of architectural... The architects who can critically evaluate the quality and fit of different designs are those who can come up with great designs of their own. All these students are doing in class is rote memorization of existing designs. They are learning nothing. How can they expect to become real architects? When they're done with this class, all they'll become...
But, Mr. Kaveh, we didn't really understand anything you said after you threw away the materials either. What's the big deal anyway? It's not like we're looking to make some...
You're studying architecture to make more...
Yeah! Why else would... My biggest dream is to become someone like Mr. Alkami. Once I finally make my fortune in architecture...
Huh. In that case, I'm afraid you'll probably be disappointed. The reality is that the world...
But how? Mr. Alkami just told us last night that He also said that as long as we graduate from his class, Waves upon waves of people will. It won't be long before I can put these miserable days behind me.
Come on. Can you all believe?
But, Mr. Alkami.
You. It's pointless trying to. Let's go, traveler. Let's hear about Alkami's true.
What's wrong, Kaveh? You look quite flustered. Were the students not astute enough for your liking?
Yeah, I'm mad at them. But I'm even more upset that you're scamming. The students are all here hoping for a quick way to make money. But we both know that an architect, if your client is unhappy, you can't break ground. And the longer a project goes, the longer. You know all of this just as well as I do. Why lie to them?
Look, Kaveh. You may be the light of Ksharawar. You may deny it all you want. But it's a fact that our clients care very little for the effort we pour into our designs. Instead of appreciating.
I suppose that's.
Why should we cling on to a profession that's difficult if it's near impossible to make money as an architect? Then why not just establish a training center and train other people to become architects in our stead?
Wait, how does that make any sense? Aren't you just leading them into the same trap?
We are already stuck, my friend. The more people we can lead into this pit and stack as padding beneath our feet, the more comfortable our lives will be. That's right. Making money as an architect is a slow and agonizing process. In comparison, earning tuition from a training center is far easier. None of the students will ever know, however. In their eyes, all of my income was earned during my years as an architect. It's easy for them to fall for my promise. After all, everyone wants to live the dream of being the person who can spend millions without batting an eye. The more students I get, the more money I earn. And the more real that dream becomes.
And then what? Once they graduate, they'll still find out the truth about architecture and struggle to stay afloat amid all the problems we already talked about. When that happens, your
but that's just one way to... Oh, and also, I never actually promise it. I'm not even scared if they do come back and stir up trouble.
How can you sleep at night knowing that you're doing all this? I can't believe that I once saw you as a decent...
And the same goes to you. How many years has it been since you graduated from the... Only fools will see art as revered and... I urge you to think as the light of the Ksharawar. Think it over, Kaveh.
I'm so mad, I feel a headache coming on. There's nothing... Of course. I'm sure you've realized that as long as... He is right about one thing, though. These kinds of training... The most that they could accuse him of is false advertising. Oh? Did you notice something else? Yeah. The rate he gave me was 300,000 mora per... If you're gambling everything on making it rich as... Right. We should hurry. The students didn't believe it. We're never going to get any information from them again if we let Alkami
Oh, Mr. Kaveh?
Class finished a while ago, but...
I wanted to stay for a little longer. I'm still thinking about everything you taught during the class.
Of course they were. All the examples I drew were world... It's a good thing that you could recognize them for their beauty. The accumulate...
Resonate?
Yes. When I first got into architecture, and for most people, just being able... Going from admiration to assessment will take a lot of time and specialized knowledge. And I'm afraid that some...
Just as I thought.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crush your dreams. All I want to tell you is that an architect's life is not as carefree and easy as others may make it out to be.
I understand. Thank you for telling me the truth, Mr. Kaveh. I think I'll still stay here for the time being, though, since my family still hasn't paid everything off.
Paid off what?
Sorry. I can't say anything more. Mr. Alkami made it...
Don't listen to him. I am the most famous architect in Sumeru. If he kicks you out, then I'll just take you in instead.
Real?
Why would I pull?
Mr. Alkami was the one who reached out to my parents. He told them that he knew a merchant by the... He told all the students that once we
How much did your family...
I think it was...
And what was the...
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I have a bad... We need to find that merchant to confirm. Good idea. Hey...
We last saw him on the north shore of Port Ormos.
Well, it'd still be worth taking a look. We need to do something before the students' lives are ruined even further.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you guys before.
You're Fahar.
Yes.
Alkami. My friend here wants...
Oh, sounds like his business is booming.
Let me see.
Oof, you call that a bit short on money? Anyway, since you're here... here you go. Don't...
And what if they won't...
What do you mean, won't be able to pay it back? Once you graduate from Alkami's place, you'll be... And even if you were to run into some difficulties and need to delay the installments, it's no big deal. It's hard work running a business. If we're taking risks to supply you with Mora... Anyway, there's no point in tying yourself in knots over the contract. With the way...
I just did some calculations in my head. When you say the interest will get a little higher, of course the contract did a great job of trying to obfuscate that fact. If you actually do the math, however, it's clear that the amount you need to pay on interest alone will amount... Even my creditor doesn't dare to raise rates that high.
What are you trying to say, huh? I figured something was off when two well-dressed people came looking for a loan. Too many people are sticking their noses where they don't belong these days.
Eremites? I've already fought off more than... There are only a few of them, so they shouldn't pose much of a...
Following orders. Stabilize. Lucky today.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Who are you and what? I don't think we've done anything to hurt or offend.
Debt has the power to upend your whole life. But my debts are the culmination of many different facts. But these students are different. They have... You sold the dreams of becoming an architect to the students.
Ha! Everyone knows there's no such thing as a free... And if we're going to talk about greed...
Ha! And here comes the silver tongue. People grow by learning from their mistakes. Let's head back to the academia and turn this guy over to the Matra. Sino? Didn't think I would...
My vacation just ended not too long ago, so I'm going over some cases at the I see. Charging an interest rate over 30% indeed constitutes a crime. As it is highly likely that Alkami is also benefiting from this scheme, any funds we manage to recover from the suspects will be returned.
That should still be enough. Anyway, thank you for your help.
It's no trouble. Just another day at work. How did you two get tangled? Did you accept any Mora from him?
He promised to pay me 300,000 Mora per lecture, but I resigned as soon as I finished the first session.
That's good.
What do you mean, that's good? Would you have taken me into custody as well if I had actually accepted any Mora?
I wouldn't have gone that far. But, had he insisted that you were also an active participant in his schemes, under our rules, we would have been required to open an investigation on you as well. Either way, though, I believe you are innocent in all of this. Had you actually been alright with making money through—
Hey, what was that? What do you mean my life is a mess?
Never mind. Your life is fine.
You're just messing with me now, aren't you?
Let's get back to business. If Alkami's case can be successfully resolved, you'll—
Huh. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I never would have guessed.
The reward will be given regardless of your personal motivations. It was implemented with the intent of encouraging people to—
Fine.
Is there anything else?
I want to go back to the training center.
Sure, but you should wait until tomorrow. My subordinates will shut down the center.
All right, then I'll stay out of their way.
I have a few other things to take care of, so I'll be off for now. If you want to follow up on this case—
That should finally be the end of that. Oh, who would have thought it would turn out like this? To think Alkami would sink this low. Still, I think I feel a little better. It's a little ironic, but you could say it's because I've realized that there are many— How should I put it? I'm pretty stubborn. The arguments are usually extremely frustrating, and Alkami's suggestion would have allowed me to quit my life as an architect and earn money solely from my reputation. Every scholar has their own sense of pride, and a line that they don't like to— Just speaking for myself, though, I don't think that's something— If I stopped devoting everything to my creative activities, I'd be able to lead a more comfortable— At that point, any materialistic I appreciate it. You may call me conceited for this, but I would also like to think I'm talented enough to be able to lead a decent life without compromising my pride. It's certainly not easy, but I want to keep at it. My thanks again for being such a great help throughout all of this. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Mr. Kaveh promised that he'd teach us. He'll keep his promise, right? Hey! What should I do? I see everything!
After all those classes I took at the training center, what should I do now?
Mr. Kaveh promised that he'd teach. I never would have guessed Mr. Alkami was a scammer.
The training center has been shut down, and the Madra have promised to return some of our tuition.
Mr. Kaveh said we can keep working on our fundamentals and try to get into— Easier said than done. If only the best of the best can get into the academia. Mr. Kaveh might be willing—
Why? What reason does he—
So, you're the—
Huh?
Now, that's Mr. Kaveh to you. I'll keep instructing you for a while longer. You can pass on the message to the other students. As long as someone wants to come, they can join— Oh, also, I'm usually pretty busy, so I'll only be able to teach architecture fundamentals on my days off. Architecture is not an easy profession. If you want to design safe buildings, you'll have to go through a systematic study. And just as a heads up, all of this will be a huge step up from the superficial stuff you were learning before.
We'll try our best.
It seems some of you are really serious about this. All right, everyone, pack your stuff up. No need to prepare much for today's class. You'll know once we get there. Come on, let's get going. This lighthouse has been around for a long time, and the point of today is not so much about the I just want you to take a look at it and do a bit of. Don't think about how you'd actually go about
So it can.
Yep, as long as you think it'd look good. It doesn't even. In my experience, it's best to approach both the study and practice of architectural design so at least for today, I hope the student. What do you think? Want to try your hand at it as well?